I'm talking with James Toogood about his exhibition at the Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts Alumni Gallery. The exhibition was called simply James Toogood, Watercolors, from September 16th through November 29th, 2015. When Turner said to his housekeeper, "The sun is God, my dear," did you resonate with that?
Well, I am attracted to qualities of light. I think perhaps I wouldn't have put it quite that way. But yes, I'm attracted to all different types of light. I'm attracted to a golden sunshine that you might find in Bermuda. I'm attracted to the soft silver light that you might get in the UK. I'm attracted to light that's in the morning, in midday, and I love painting nocturnes. So I'm attracted to so many qualities of light and what it does to the things that are being depicted within those sources of light. This is the first step in actually doing the final watercolor,
right,
after any studies have been done, and making a plan for how the lighting is going to go, and that may alter a little bit as I get into the drawing.
Now, when you do this drawing, do you freehand? Do you project? What do you do?
So what I'm doing here is I'm taking, using linear perspective and legitimate construction. Yes. So I determine the horizon line, and then I start to work everything off of it. Yes. The basic proportions can be altered a little bit when we're talking about things like this. But once you start to get the scale of the buildings, you can work those things out fairly simply. I mean, finding the center of this building is just drawing an X through it. Mm-hmm. And then you've got where the center is. And it's the same thing with any of these things.
And I see you're using a straight edge.
I am using a straight edge.
Especially you need it here because of the architecture.
One of the things that I found that, especially when you're doing modern cities, is that you need a lot of straight edges.
Yeah.
But when you're doing Venetian scenes, some straight edges are helpful, and then not using the straight edges is also helpful. When I feel comfortable that I have achieved the feeling of light and shade, that the painting is now speaking to me the way that I envisioned it, then I know the painting is done. And sometimes you just have to go through the experience until you're satisfied.
Your work is so representational and yet so abstract. I think that abstraction is in your mind.
It absolutely is. That's something that I'm very conscious of because, yes, I'm trying to appeal to a wide audience. So I want to be able to reach out to people who don't know an awful lot about art, and they can recognize the paintings, and they'll recognize it on that level. But then people who are more sophisticated, there's more content there for them. And the whole idea is with the composition to grab your eye from across the room, and as you come closer to look at the painting, you won't be disappointed. There's always something there, and there are different ways that you can look at the painting.
I see. You talk about white not really being white most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, there are so many different types of white, and the painting that's called St. George's, you see a church, a white church, and these white buildings, and all these white buildings are covered with violet and yellow and all these different colors, but you still have the illusion that they're all white buildings, and it's because of the circumstances that happen with the light. So I'm always playing with not just the white of the paper, but the light of the paper, and there might be 10 different whites in my painting.
Would you call yourself a photorealist?
I would not.
I thought you'd say that.
Yes, I am not trying to create photo illusions. I'm trying to be a realist, but not a photorealist. I see that as a different aesthetic. It's not to say that there's anything wrong with that or that it isn't valid, but that's just not what I'm doing.
But you're also sort of, sometimes when I look at your work, especially of Philly and cities, New York, I think pop art.
Absolutely.
So you're going to subscribe to that before photorealism?
Well, you see, when you see the continuum of these things, there's unquestionably a pop art element to my work, And one of the things that I do sometimes when you are doing something in one-point perspective, you get the juxtaposition between something that's very frontal and very graphic, and then this racing towards deep space. And that juxtaposition can be a lot of fun, and then you can play with ideas that are pop art ideas. And let's face it, when you start to really examine what's going on in the cityscape, it feels like a lot of pop art.